All right, next game. So we have the opposite of Russell Wilson, and we have Cowboys at the Eagles. The Cowboys who are just done, and then the Eagles who should be done, but they play in the worst division in the NFL. There's no line on this game because we don't know who Dallas's quarterback is going to be. Andy Dalton took such a hard hit from John Bostic, so he might be out. It'll be a surprise if he comes back. Like frankly, although you never know. If he doesn't play, it's going to be Ben Dinucci. So what are your thoughts on this game? Like, what do you think the line's going to be? Like where are you leaning?
I'm definitely leaning on Philly no matter what the line is going to be. I'm running under the assumption that Ben Dinucci is going to start. I think if Dinucci starts, we're probably talking about, I would want to say around a 9-point spread, just because it's a rookie quarterback who has good weapons on offense, but the offensive line is so bad, and then the defense is so bad too. I can't bring myself to bet Dallas starting a third-string quarterback, especially one, who's a 7th-round pick out of James Madison, who had transferred away from Pitt because he couldn't beat out some other guys for starting jobs there. Like, great developmental project, not a guy you want to start in a divisional game that needs to be won. And that's pretty much all I have to say about this. And the only other thing I'm going to say is, hey, we were right about the Cowboys. Like, everyone was like, oh, they're a Super Bowl contender this year. And we were like, no, Mike McCarthy's no upgrade, and that defense is bad. And so far, we've been dead right about that. So not always right on here, but when we are, it usually pays off pretty well.
Yeah, regarding the Cowboys, and also in Seahawks, and I'm gonna link those two in a second. You'll see how. I remember I was in Vegas in July, and I was at Evil Pie, which is not EVIL, EVEL after Evil Knievel. It's like I think it's the best pizza I've ever had, like best pepperoni pizza I've ever had. Anyway, I was there at lunch, and I just came from the Circa casino, and they had lines on whether teams will make the playoffs or not. And they had Seahawks to make the playoffs -120, and they had Cowboys to miss the playoffs at +215. And I remember texting you and a couple of other people. I'm like, what is going on with these numbers? Like, it doesn't make sense at all to me. So I'm glad I got those bets in, and glad I had some great pizza that afternoon. It was a great day, and I'll be able to cash those tickets, I think. This Cowboys team stinks. They were terrible with Dalton, and now they have Dinucci, who couldn't do anything against the Redskins. So, like, I don't know, like, how the Cowboys are going to block the Eagles. I don't know how the Cowboys are going to score. I would say I don't know how the Cowboys are going to stop the Eagles, but I think the Eagles will stop themselves. Like, I see Carson Wentz throwing more interceptions in the red zone. Although I will say this one thing about the Eagles. They've had a mini bye here, so they've had extra time to kind of like scout themselves and like maybe figure out something they're doing wrong. So there's a chance that we'll see a better version of the Eagles after this mini bye. Maybe not, but I think there's a chance that could at least happen. So I'm expecting the spread to be like -9.5, something -10, something like that. And even then, I would still take the Eagles. I don't think you can bet Ben Dinucci at all.
Yeah, I agree. And if I see Carson Wentz throw another red zone interception, I'm going to lose my mind, because that game against the Giants was my most frustrating loss of the week. More frustrating than the Browns, because I lost my perfect Thursday night record, and it really it felt like the Eagles won by 20 and they won by a single point. And it's all because Wentz keeps getting sacked and turning the ball over. And granted, the sacks aren't his fault, not always at least, but the turnovers, like, don't just launch balls up in the end zone, man. Just throw it out of bounds if the play's not there.
You would think he would know that. I don't know why he doesn't. A question here from CHR Wedge. Should the Cowboys trade for a free agent quarterback or just tank the season? I don't think they should trade for a quarterback. I think they're better off tanking. Even if they make the playoffs, like, they're not going to do anything, and they're going to get a much worse draft pick. Like, they're going to go from a top 10 draft pick, maybe top 5, to 19, assuming they lose in the first round. So, the Cowboys need a lot. They need an edge rusher like Gregory Rousseau. I think that'd be huge for them. Or even if they get a top 2, if they get the number 2 pick, they could consider Justin Fields and not have to worry about paying Dak Prescott a lot of money. And Dalton's not going to be out for that much longer. Like he's going to miss this game probably. He's maybe miss next week's game, but then he's going to be back. And so I really don't see the point in trading for anyone.
Yeah, you're not going to find a better quarterback than Andy Dalton readily available on the market that's going to be a definitive upgrade. Like, we can speculate about maybe the Dolphins would be willing to listen to offers on Fitzpatrick if they're really intent on starting 2 of the rest of the year, but you can't guarantee that he's going to be better than Dalton would be with the Cowboys, especially because the new quarterback would come in and learn a new system. So I think they're better off just seeing hey, can we right the ship somehow and win this horrible division? And if they can't, then they're going to get a top 10 pick, be able to address that, some of their defensive issues, trade down for bounty of picks, take a quarterback and let Prescott walk, take a quarterback and tag Prescott and trade him. They would have a lot of options if they get an early pick. So, and then they could move on from McCarthy and fire someone who can, actually lead a team to the playoffs at this point in their career.
Yeah, you'd think maybe Jerry Jones will finally admit a mistake. Like, Jerry Jones has the slowest hook of any owner. Like, he's so slow to fire people. But I think he has to realize he made a mistake with McCarthy. Ryan Fitzpatrick was the one name that I considered. And if the Cowboys had a good team and all they didn't have was a quarterback, I would say, trade for Fitzpatrick. He's better than Dalton. He can get them to the playoffs. But this team they can't block. They can't play defense. They can't stop anything. All they have are receivers, and plus Elliott, who keeps fumbling. That's all they have are playmakers. So even if they added Fitzpatrick, I don't think they'd win games. So they really don't have much. So anyway.